Let me state without any ambiguity that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu operates on the fundamental principle that a sure-footed, critical, and independent press is a central nervous system of our functioning democracy. It is significantly the mechanism through which a nation holds a conversation with itself.
Nigeria's Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima, Information Minister Honorable Mohammed Idris Malagi, and President International Press Institute Nigeria have disagreed over whether or not there is media repression in Nigeria. The occasion was the 2025 annual conference and annual general meeting of the International Press Institute Nigeria, held on Tuesday, December 2nd at Nikon Luxury Hotel, Abuja, with the theme Addressing Media Repression, Safeguarding Press Freedom and Democratic Accountability. In his opening remarks, the IPI president, Mr. Mojid Muskilu, lamented the media repression faced by journalists and media organizations in the country. He added that the harassment of the media in our society is becoming alarming, as well as intimidation, arrest of journalists, and shutting down of media houses.
It is a critical moment for sober reflection on the state of journalism in our country and for collective action to defend what remains of our civic space. Today, we meet not only as professionals, but as custodians of an essential democratic institution, journalism. And at a time like this, when our freedoms are under growing pressure, our responsibility becomes even more urgent. The Nigerian media landscape is in distress. This year, Nigeria fell 10 places from 112 to 122 in the global press freedom ranking. That steep drop is not the result of one incident. It is the cumulative effect of consistent and aggressive repression across platforms and across newsrooms. Nigeria is classified as one of West Africa's most dangerous countries for journalists. This is not a beautiful portrayal of our country, but the description is not business. The pattern is unmistakable. Journalists are monitored, attacked, and arbitrarily arrested. Completely lawful reporting activities such as filming a demolition, covering a protest, documenting police misconduct have become dangerous acts. Media houses are shut down for political reasons. In Zamfara, 4 broadcast stations, NTA, Pride FM, Gamji TV, and her Uma TV were once closed simply for airing an opposition rally. Investigative journalists face targeted intimidation.
He called on the federal and state governments to ensure that the harassment of journalists is stopped and to ensure press freedom, which is a key tool for accountability in democracy. Warning against the declining state of press freedom in the country, he declared that further attacks on journalists would be fiercely resisted.
This administration should also strengthen mechanisms for journalist safety. Nigeria has no functioning state protection system for journalists. This must change. In addition, the time has come for Nigeria to review laws that enable abuse, particularly the cybercrime and outdated criminal defamation provisions. We are also urging the government to address the culture of impunity in our country. There are too many centers of power routinely deploying state powers against journalists without consequences. When crimes against journalists go unpunished, the message is dangerous, that silencing the press is acceptable. But let us be clear, ladies and gentlemen, journalism is a tough, risky, and selfless public service. And if they get nothing for their sacrifice for society, journalists at least deserve respect and protection. Therefore, any further attack on journalists will be fiercely resisted going forward.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the occasion and vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, in his address, challenged Mr. Mujib Muskilu's statement, saying that there is press freedom in Nigeria and the administration is doing everything possible to ensure that the media continues to thrive. It is impossible, utterly impossible, to have a successful dictator in Nigeria, Shettima declared, adding that never in our history has any person or government succeeded in suppressing the media permanently.
Every nation is a construction of its media. Those who sit behind the keyboards and microphones and can make the color of blue appear red. Those who can summon the collective courage of the people to overpower the most brutal dictator. Those who can dismantle evil dreams or dismantle illusions. Those who can give life to hope or bury a nation in fear. Our aspiration, therefore, is to witness the finest expressions of this noble craft, while you offer the public a diversity of information from which independent opinions are formed, and where truth, not convenience, becomes the supreme editorial policy. There is no doubt that Nigeria has one of the most vibrant media communities anywhere in the world, a path proven across generations. We have lived through days that showcase your brilliance and patriotism, just as we have lived through days that reveal your imperfections. Yet one thing you have never failed to do is to rise in defense of the public's right to know. We have confronted those who sought to suffocate this oxygen of our democracy, and in moments of national confusion, you step forward to correct misinformation. This is a responsibility we cannot afford to take for granted, however complex our relationship may be sometimes. One of the proudest moments for journalism in contemporary Nigeria has been the sincerity with which the overwhelming majority of you continue to confront the rising tide of foreign information manipulation and interference. You have stood firmly against this information and refuse to surrender your pens to falsehood of foreign puppeteers. This honorable stance. Perhaps the most sacred duty of the media is the responsibility of saving democracy. This duty involves not only saving democracy from the political class, but also saving the political class from themselves. We remain friends only when each of us honors our part of the debt to all the people. The alternative to this partnership is one I refuse to breathe life into. Because a nation where the media is silent is a nation where public officers lose their way and where the people lose their voice. Such a country deserves none of that. And so I stand before you today not as a worthy politician, but as a friend, as a brother, as a contemporary. As a friend, one who acknowledges your indispensable role, and assure you that this administration respects. I will continue to protect your right to freedom of expression.
Speaking also, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Honorable Mohammed Idris Malagi, said that the Tinubu administration had always championed the cause of a free press in Nigeria, contrary to the view of Mujib Muskilu.
I stand before you today not to reel out a list of the achievements of this administration, but to present evidence and engage in a critical dialogue about the paths we are working together towards a more accountable and sustainable democracy. Let me state without any ambiguity that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu operates on the fundamental principle that a sure-footed, critical, and independent press is a central nervous system of our functioning democracy. It is significantly the mechanism through which a nation holds a conversation with itself. Our presence here today, under the guidance and the leadership of His Excellency Vice President Shettima is a deliberate signal of our commitment to that conversation. We, however, acknowledge that challenges do exist and indeed persist. The balance between national security, combating misinformation, and upholding absolute press freedom is a complex one, navigated by nations across the globe, not only in Nigeria. Our approach to this complexity is the most telling proof of our restraint. As one from amongst you who remains true to our shared vision, I leave you with this pledge. I will continue to be an unwavering voice within the Federal Executive Council, championing the cause of free press and an open society, and sustaining our current tempo, moving it in the right direction.
Speaking in an exclusive interview with True Vision Television, former Senior Special Assistant on Media to late President Muhammad Buhari, Alhaji Garba Shehu observed that there are no government policies that are targeted at the freedom of the press in Nigeria. He further said that the violation of press freedom is there, but that Nigeria is improving.
I have no doubt about this, because there is no laid out policy by the government. And this is, I'm not saying this because I'm also a member of the APC. There's no government policy which targets the freedom of expression in this country. Are there violations of freedom of the press, of the freedom of the expression? Yes, there are incidents. They occur, especially at the lower levels of law enforcement. So it's a difficult situation, for every government, not only the Nigerian government, but by and large. I think that, is there room for improvement? Yes, there must be.
Speaking on the alleged one-party system championed by the ruling All Progressive Congress, Alhaji Garba Shehu said it is not possible in a country as large as Nigeria.
It's not even possible we are a very large society, 200 million people, voices from different parts of the country. In the same way that you don't have one single newspaper telling the Nigerian story, it's not possible for one political party to take power and hold it in this country. It's not going to happen.
The executive director of Media Rights Agenda, Edetain Ojo, said that the absence of press freedom in Nigeria is pulling down the foundation of democracy. He said the political actors stifle the media sector in performing its duties, and if nothing is done, there will be no journalists in the future.
The media is trying its best to play that role, that responsibility which has been given to it by the Constitution. Well, we are certainly not experiencing press freedom in Nigeria. As I mentioned earlier, the environment has been very challenging, and one of the challenges is repression of the media sector. Many of the political actors do not appear to appreciate the important role that media has to play, or indeed the responsibility that the Constitution gives to the media to uphold the accountability of the government to the people. So they often try to stifle the media sector in performing its duties.
Speaking also, IPI Nigerian member Catherine Agbo said the organization is in the forefront of championing press freedom in Nigeria, with a view to ensuring that journalists operate freely without harassment, as in some cases.
The IPI Nigeria is one of the media organizations that is at the forefront of championing press freedom in Nigeria, and IPI largely does this through advocacy. If you look at the statistics of press freedom globally, Nigeria has dropped in the ranking, which tells you that Nigeria is not doing very well on the Freedom of Press Index, and these are the issues we are trying to bring to the fore. The media is one of the critical components in a democracy like ours, and the media is one of those organizations whose practice is recognized by the constitution of the country.
Media veteran and chairman of the Board of Trustees of IPI Nigeria, Safolu Olamiti, said though Nigeria is not practicing total freedom of the press, the IPI Nigeria is on ground to safeguard the media and journalists. He said that IPI remains in the background, doing all it takes to maintain democracy in Nigeria through the media.
That is our role, the role to safeguard the press freedom in Nigeria and to ensure that journalists ply their trade freely in Nigeria. This we have been doing locally and internationally, and it has been very worthwhile for us to see that repression of the press in Nigeria has not gone haywire, but it's you cannot say we are totally out of it. You know, there is self-censorship. There are some people who are not even bold enough to talk to the government, but I can tell you that you can still find some few journalists with us who can talk the truth to the leadership of this country, and they are good writers too. Who are doing this, and we are encouraging them.
In lending her voice to the advocacy of press freedom in Nigeria, Mrs. Nnenna Okoha, head Public Affairs Department of Nigerian Communication Commission, said the NCC is collaborating with the media outlets and the IPI in championing free press. She also said no country is totally having press freedom, but that Nigeria is on the way to total press freedom.
That there's connectivity, effective connectivity in the country so that the journalists or the press or the media can communicate effectively. We're getting there. Very soon we'll get there. Though I don't think there's anywhere in the world where there's total press freedom. But Nigeria is making great progress. And the press in Nigeria is very, very vibrant. And in no distant time, you'll be shocked. We'll get there. We'll surmount all those challenges. And our leadership, the leadership of Nigeria, they have listening ear. They are listening. You heard what the Vice President said. We'll get there. It's gradually.
One of the major highlights of the event was the unveiling of the Book of Infamy by the Vice President, containing the names of the first set of people to be blacklisted for threatening and oppressing press freedom in Nigeria. The three are Niger State Governor Umar Bago, Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno, and Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun. However, in a press statement, the Akwa Ibom State government dismissed the allegation and demanded a formal apology from the IPI president. To round up the event was the issuance of certificates to the newly inducted members of the IPI Nigeria. The conference concluded with a consensus that while government assurances are welcomed, the media must remain vigilant. Ebere Anebo for True Vision Online Television, the platform that democratizes the media space.